Hi there, welcome along to Total Football. Now, after a very eventful week for Newcastle, there's only one place to start. Now, yesterday, £55 million midfielder Sandro Tonali was banned for 10 months for breaching betting rules, meaning he cannot play again until August 2024. But it appears, as of now, the ban has not yet been ratified. For more on this and to hear the thoughts, let's get straight into Eddie Howe.
Start with the situation and the ban has been issued for 10 months. Firstly, what's your reaction to that?
Well, it's a difficult one, Razor, because we haven't had official confirmation as a football club yet. So we've heard the news, sort of the speculation statement, but we haven't had anything from the Italian authorities at the moment. So we're sort of in limbo, really, waiting for that official confirmation to come through.
So because you're still waiting, is there a chance that if that doesn't arrive before the weekend that he could play at Wolves? Yeah,
I think there's a high chance again that he could be available for us. I still think there's a few things that have to happen before the ban's imposed. So let's see.
He's still got this hanging over him, though, and you've already talked in recent press conferences about how it's been a difficult few weeks for him. How is he at the moment?
Well, I think you saw from the Dortmund game, I thought he came on and did really well. He was bright. That's how he's trained. From the moment this happened, I think his training performances have been very good. So that's the only way I can judge him. His mood is the same. You know, he's good around the group. He's good around the training ground. Obviously, it is there in the background, and I'm sure when he goes home, there are difficult times for him. But from what I can see, he's handling himself in the right way.
Is there still, I know you're waiting for confirmation, but a huge frustration that you've signed a player for a lot of money and, you know, presumably unaware of everything was hanging over him, and possibly a transfer that might not have happened if you'd known the full fact?
I think I said in the press conference the other day, I can't work with hindsight, so you make a decision at the time with the knowledge that you have. We really liked him as a footballer. We had no idea that this was even a possibility. So, of course, there's an element of frustration and disappointment. We're not going to have a quality player for a long period of time.
But would the club still be sort of wanting to know who knew what and when from the Italian point of view?
Again, I answered that the other day. I think that's for the club to decide.
And in terms of Sandro himself, obviously he's a young player, but the relationship between football and gambling, this is the sort of problem that isn't going to go away. Do you think clubs can actually kind of learn from his problem and perhaps siphon that into how you deal with the young players here?
I think there's always scope to improve everything that we deliver for our young players, and that's education, advising them of the pitfalls. These pitfalls have been there for many, many years for footballers. All different types of situations can occur in their careers, and it's the better we can get good guidance into them at a younger age, and then hopefully we can these situations can be avoided.
And how important is it that, unlike Ivan Toney, Sandro can sort of train with you and be part of the Newcastle family for all that period of time?
Well, hopefully we'll be able to, but again, we're awaiting confirmation of that. We don't know.
Eddie, Joe Willock spoke after the game the other night about how during his injury layoff you were in constant touch with him and, you know, seeing where he was and everything. That meant an awful lot to him. Different situation, but is it important that you maintain that same sort of thing with Sandro when things happen, unfold?
I think certainly with Sandro's situation, if he is ultimately banned for that length of time, he's going to have really difficult moments within that time frame. A lot of attention on him initially, and that's a difficult situation for him. But then, no doubt, there'll be a period where it's just training, and wherever he trains, just training and no game, and that's very difficult for any player to adjust to, especially when they're fit and able to play. So that's going to be difficult, and I think the communication between us, me and my coaching staff, and him is going to be hugely important.
And as a manager, does this just show how the best laid plans can be torn up when you've got to be adaptable and reactive to situations?
I think it shows that no one can ever tell what tomorrow is going to bring for any of us, and so I think it's a valuable lesson for us. We need a squad robust enough to deal with these things. Although you cannot foresee that they're going to happen, that's almost a part of life and football. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Given that the Italian Federation put out a statement last night, which was in the Italian media confirming the ban, isn't there a communications breakdown somewhere? Because I mean, it was quite detailed. It was all about how he's got to attend 16 meetings in the 8 months, follow, you know, the 18-month section of it. So, I mean, has there been no sort of phone conversations with the federation, because it just is bizarre?
Louise, the club's still waiting to hear formally from the federation around details of the ban, and the process, as far as we're concerned, is still ongoing. So until that process is concluded, we can't and won't be issuing comment.
But it's sort of reported as fact, and I mean, I've seen the statement. I mean, it just seems bizarre.
Well, as it currently stands, Sandro remains available for selection, and will be until we're told otherwise.
Will that change today? Could it change today?
We don't know that, Simon, for certain.
How do you feel about that you might be told at 5 o'clock that he's not available?
But as I said, I've made peace with it in a sense that I know we're going to be without him at some stage. When we're told, we react. I think all you can do is condition your brain to sort of work with the facts that you have at that moment.
OK, as you can see, we've got Keith Downey up in the North East for us. This news is going to take a lot of people by surprise, that Tonali could still play tomorrow. So to take us through why that is the case then.
Yeah, Hayley, we heard Eddie Howe there, and I think as far as he's concerned, he's kind of learning by the day as well. It's an unusual situation, this one, because we obviously heard the quotes yesterday from the Italian Football Federation president, who, you know, made it clear that Sandro Tonali was to be banned for 10 months. That ban had been handed to him with, of course, the further punishment of the course, the educational course that he needs to go on, and the community course over in Italy for 8 months off the back of that 10-month ban. But the ban or the punishment has yet to be rubber stamped, as Eddie Howe touched on there. So as far as Newcastle are concerned, they have not had official confirmation to them from FIFA, and until they get that, Tonali is available to play. So is it a technicality? Not too sure. I think it's more just the ban being rubber stamped by the authorities, and until that is the case, as I say, he is able to play. So although we got confirmation from the Italian Football Federation yesterday, the authorities who are pushing this punishment through are yet to notify Newcastle United, and until they do that, as I say, he can play. And I think with Newcastle's injury situation right now, they're mounting for Eddie Howe, given the amount of matches they're playing. I think he will use Sandro Tonali at Wolves tomorrow. As he said later on in his news conference, I'm not sure if we heard the clip there, but Eddie Howe said, I think he has a high chance of being involved tomorrow, because there's still a fair amount of work to do with regards to the punishment being rubber stamped. So, look, Hayley, a very unusual situation. Obviously, no clarity yet for the football club. And I guess yesterday, after we heard from the Italian Football Federation, everyone thought that was the ban in force from yesterday, but it sounds as though it might not kick in until the start of next week now.
You'll have to wait and see for that. But what did Howe have to say actually about Tonali himself, the player, and his state of mind about, you know, being at the centre of this?
Yeah, it sounds as though he's okay. On the face of it, Eddie says that around about the training ground where we are right now, he said he's still smiling and joking with the players, and on the face of it he looks happy. But we heard from him there, and he said that, you know, when he goes home back to his family, I'm sure he has some difficult moments, and he's expecting that to continue throughout the course of the next 10 months. Look, there's no denying it's going to be a difficult time, and the last 2 weeks have been particularly difficult for Sandro Tonali, but he's now had a few weeks, I think, to get his head around things. Remember, he was taken out of international duty just over 3 weeks ago, so he's had that time to try and come to terms with it. And remember, he was over in Turin last week for that personal hearing where he admitted to gambling on football matches in which he played. So he will have known then that by admitting that a ban was set to come his way. So he's had, a week and a half to try and come to terms with the situation. And remember, this isn't just a 10-month ban that's been handed down to him. This is a 10-month ban that has been agreed between himself, his lawyers, and also the Italian Football Federation. Essentially, Hayley, a plea bargain has been agreed between both sets for Tonali to have this 10-month ban. Had he not agreed to that, had he not been open, transparent and cooperative with their investigation, he could have faced a 3-year ban. So I think Sandro Tonali felt he needed to do that. They said they praised him yesterday. The Italian Football Federation praised him, and they said that he went above and beyond with his help. And because of that, he has only received a 10-month ban. So it sounds as though on a day-to-day basis he's getting his head around things. His mood is good, according to Eddie Howe, but he's going to have some difficult times to come, you would suspect, over the next 10 months. But I would imagine right now, training's about to take place here at the Newcastle United training ground within the next half hour. I would guess his only thoughts right now are on Wolves tomorrow, because as Eddie says there, he's available to play in that match.
Yeah, Keith, for now, thank you very much indeed.